Good morning from Los Angeles. Alyssa Corman, Ken Shreve here with your market update. It is Wednesday, November 14th. On today's show, we're taking a look at three stocks that are on the move on earnings: Canada Goose, Macy's, and Canopy Growth. So first, looking at the major indexes, we are up across the board, but pairing gains. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are both up about 0.3%, while the Dow is up 0.2%. So this whole pairing gains thing is something that we've seen a lot of lately.
Yeah, that's for sure. We did get a really compelling sign of strength in the major stock indexes last week. We had a nice bullish follow-through day on Wednesday, November 7th, and it's just been a tough sledding ever since. Even yesterday, the NASDAQ had a 1.6% intraday gain. It went all the way back to break even. We had early gains in the NASDAQ this morning, and those gains have faded as well. But there is a bright spot in earnings, and we'll get to that one.
That's right. Let's take a look at Canada Goose. Those shares are up almost 17% in massive volume here. A gap up for the stock. It is coming a little bit off of its intraday high, but that RS line at a new high. We have better than expected earnings and sales, and Canada Goose raised its sales outlook. So it now sees sales growth in fiscal 2019 of 30%, up from 20%. So a good report here from Canada Goose.
Very good report, and a bullish gap up, like you said, out of a consolidation. It has given back some gains. It is off its highs, and anytime a stock gaps up out of a consolidation like this, you'd like to see it, hold near highs and show strength. So some sellers in Canada Goose, but still a nice percentage gain for the stock. And again, I think the holiday guidance here was very strong. Big earnings beat as well, so numbers strong all the way around at Canada Goose.
That's right. So as far as how we'd like to see the stock close today, what are your thoughts on that? Because it is a big gap up, but it is now contending a little bit with that buy point.
Yeah, definitely. So I think a close above 70 would be bullish. That would pretty much translate to at least a close in the top half of its intraday range. You can look at the daily chart right now, and you can see it's pretty much near its session low, below the $70 level. But so again, some sellers in the stock, but nice gap up, still a strong percentage gain, bullish relative strength line, so that's good. But we'll see if we can manage a close above 70 here.
That's right. And we do have Macy's share reversing lower on earnings, now down about 4% in heavy volume, despite a massive earnings beat that came in more than double expectations. And we also had sales up 2% after a 1% decline in the last quarter. So perhaps something on the call up with Macy's, or headed into the holiday season, what can we expect from some of these other retailers that are due to report?
Well, I mean, this earnings report is a little reminiscent of Home Depot yesterday, because Home Depot reported really nice earnings and gave pretty good guidance, and you had the same thing at Macy's, and the stock is has reversed lower. It's testing its 50-day moving average. We know since the market's follow-through day last week on Wednesday, clearly there are sellers still in this market, and clearly there are sellers in shares of Macy's today. So it's hard to explain the reaction.
Sure.
The earnings looked pretty good, but again, Home Depot had a very similar day yesterday. Good news was met by a pretty nasty down day.
All right, and last on our list, we want to take a look at Canopy Growth. Those shares down about 9% in heavy volume here. It's now nearing its lows from late October here on its earnings. A wider than expected loss here, so perhaps a little early here in the growth story for Canopy Growth.
Yeah, there was a time when the marijuana stocks were hitting new highs, and there was a lot of euphoria. Seemed to be maybe a little bit of a bubble building, but clearly there are still fundamental question marks around these companies. Which companies are going to be able to execute, which are not, which companies are going to be left standing. Certainly Canopy Growth was the first real newsy stock in this sector. It was Constellation Brands that initially announced a 10% stake in the company, and then they upped that all the way to 40%. So that investment looking a little shaky right now with Canopy Growth so far off its high, but like you said, the wider than expected loss, sales up 28% to only 18 million. So these companies are not doing a lot of revenue yet, but you know, kind of a tough day for Canopy Growth. And Tilray, TLRY, also reported earnings. That stock's down as well.
That's right. All right, everyone, that is it for now, but be sure to check in at investors.com throughout the day and after the close for all the latest market news and analysis. We also have a presence on social media, from Facebook to Instagram to YouTube to Twitter. And one more announcement before we leave, another place that you can get all the latest market news and analysis. We have a chat room on StockTwits. So if you don't have a StockTwits account, you can make one for free. Go ahead and check out our premium room in the premium room section. It's only $4.99 a month. You get a lot of great analysis from our moderators in there. It's myself, Elaine Lowe, and Bill Peters. So you can get one-on-one live chat, your questions answered, all about learning how to read stock charts, buy points, sell rules, you name it, we're there. So make sure to go check it out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.